Welcome to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. Every Wednesday, Mark and Kim, along with their special guests, will explore thought-provoking topics and ideas that promote creativity, self-help, healing, happiness, and well-being to inspire you on your spiritual journey. Each week, Mark and Kim will discuss different paths to achieving a more spiritual, balanced, happy, and healthy lifestyle. Topics will elevate consciousness and range from metaphysics to the human and social experience, and all things spiritual. Welcome to an inspired community that offers support, encouragement, and new ways of thinking. Mark and Kim are tested, certified, and professional spiritual mediums, metaphysical teachers, healers, and spiritual advisors with their own individual spiritual practices in Seattle, Washington, and Los Angeles, California. You are the inspired and the inspiration.
And happy Wednesday to you. Make a choice, take a chance, and watch and experience the positive changes that will take place in your life. This is Inspired Living with Mark and Kim here on OMTimes Radio, the voice of consciousness. I am your co-host, Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector, coming to you live from beautiful Seattle, Washington. And with me today and every Wednesday is my friend, colleague, and soon to be my conference buddy in Asheville, North Carolina, Kim Thalken, founder of Love First in Encino, California. Happy Wednesday, Kim. And it looks like Kim might be experiencing a little bit of what we were talking about earlier on the Mercury retrograde. So we're going to try to get her onto the show as soon as we can. As far as this month's positive affirmation for September, it's hard to believe that September is almost gone. Today is the last day of September. Wanted just to read our last week's positive affirmation before we get into October, and that is from the late Dr. Wayne Dyer, and it is: the act of being inspired by some great purpose allows you to feel the essence of a spiritual being having a human experience rather than the other way around. And that's from Dr. Wayne Dyer, and that's our Inspired Living September positive affirmation. And we'll be bringing a new positive affirmation here in October. And if you want to interact with the show right now live, you can head over to our Facebook page, which is Inspired Living Radio, and you can post your question there, or you can go to our Twitter account, which is Inspired for Us. That's the number 4, Inspired for Us, and type in your questions. And it's a great way to interact with the show live, and we'll bring your questions live to air for myself, for Kim, or our special guest that we're going to be talking about here in just a second. You can also follow us on our other accounts of social media, which is Instagram. That's Inspired for Us, the number 4, and our Google Plus Communities page, which is Inspired Living with Mark and Kim. If you do happen to miss the live show today, and this is every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, you can always catch us over on our encore shows, which is OMTimes Radio Archives. So if you've made it to this far to listen to the show on OMTimes, there's just another button at the top of your screen called Archives. You can go listen to some really great shows, not just Inspired Living, but there's a lot of great shows on the OMTimes Radio Network, and I would recommend checking them out. A lot of great topics, and again, the voice of consciousness. You can also catch us on Podbean, SoundCloud, and now YouTube, so we're easily found. So as far as, Kim, have you been able to make it on yet? Okay, looks like Mercury retrograde is kicking in, and David, we were just talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah, I'm no offense, Kim, but I'm laughing right now because I'm glad it's not me.
Yeah. So sometimes, especially with this Mercury retrograde, we find that different Mercury retrogrades have different impacts on us, and this one is specifically known for technology. And when you use Skype and internet radio, it's all technology, so it can be impacted.
Yeah,
so we'll keep.
It's nervous.
Yeah, it's it's funny because we were just talking about it before the show when we were getting ready to set up, and sure enough, Kim is not able to get on, and she's not able to join us right now. But we have a whole hour to work through, and hopefully Kim will make it on. I do want to give out a shout out. We like to give shout out to people that are making a difference in this world, making changes, being inspiring others. We like to say that you are the inspired and the inspiration conversation, and Kim and I had talked, and we wanted to give a shout out to Pope Francis in his historical visit to the United States, and to all the religious leaders that actually sat up on one stage and talked about peace, unity, love for our fellow beings, and most of all, respect for our Mother Earth. So just giving an Inspired Living shout out to Pope Francis in his recent visit. So if you want to be on the show of Inspired Living, please send us a message on our Facebook, Twitter accounts right now. And if you have questions, please head over to those pages and ask your questions, and we'll bring them live to air. And we are scheduling out for 2016. Believe it or not, we're already booked out until March. So we are going to be looking at having guests on the show in both March and April. And with that, I am going to bring on our guest today. I'm excited for this show because this show is all about chronic pain. This is about how to beat chronic pain. This is a struggle that I've been dealing with the last 6 months in my own health and my own journey, and learning how to get healthy without taking a lot of pills and having surgery. David Foreman is a retired pharmacist. He's an author and radio host of the syndicated show, The Herbal Pharmacist. He is well versed on the healing powers of herbs, vitamins, and other natural supplements. Mr. Foreman is a graduate of the University of South Carolina College, we won't hold that against him, of pharmacy, and is the author of 4 Pillars of Health, Heart Disease. He's a frequent speaker at some of America's leading universities, medical groups, and hospitals on the subject of natural health and healing. His shift from traditional pharmacist to herbal pharmacist was based on his belief that education is the key to understanding that natural health plays a vital role in mainstream medicine, and he has dedicated his entire career to educating consumers about the benefits and power behind natural herbs and supplements. David, welcome to Inspired Living.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
It's a hot topic, too. It really is.
It is. It's something that we were talking before the show. It's something that I actually went through. I went through the whole. I had gotten injured. I had broken a disc in my back, and went through the whole Western medicine of, well, you should have surgery right away. You should take all these pills. And to me, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel like I don't want somebody, doing surgery on me, for one, unless it's actually needed. But the pain was so intense that I actually thought about it. And the pills that they give you from all the narcotics and the muscle relaxers, I just felt like I was walking around like a zombie, and just started to look at other ways of getting healthy. And I came across your profile, and that's why we have you on the show today. So let's talk all about chronic pain. Let's talk about natural supplements and how we can all get healthy.
Awesome. It's a lot of people are not like you when it comes to chronic pain. I'd say, it's interesting because I think some of the people are, there's some sort of an injury that manifested in, their chronic pain. I'm the same way. I actually had, not like there's a non-freak accident, but I had a freak accident a couple of years ago running within 100 feet of the front door, and didn't see the sidewalk go down, and hyperextended and tore a ligament in my knee. And so I've also, no pun intended, walked that walk like you're describing. And I feel like I'm not, I feel like I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't at least, go natural. I think there's a time and a place for modern medicine, but I feel like too often for us, especially people with chronic pain, there are so many natural solutions, and I think people give up too easily and medicate and sedate themselves so that they don't feel, instead of really addressing the underlying cause.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very easy for me to take those pills that they easily prescribed to you, the narcotics and the muscle relaxers, and they took away the pain. But I knew that it was very unhealthy and hard on my body and my organs, and I was just like, I've got to find a different way. And so the holistic approach, and it was funny because when I asked the doctors, especially the surgeons, on their thoughts about holistic medicine, I kind of got the eyes rolling and, shaking of the head. And, it's just, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about today for the next hour has been around for, I don't know, a couple thousand years, would you say?
Especially when it comes to, the herbal part of medicine. Yeah. I mean, those go back thousands and thousands of years. So, granted, if you had some traumatic injury, where something's been crushed, it's a lot more challenging to go natural, or like with my knee, it's not a quick fix. And so there are things that I like to recommend to help people with what we'll call the surface pain while we're digging to the root of why do you have that pain and helping the body literally heal itself. And that's really, for me as a guy that actually went to pharmacy school, I think you left that part out. I'm a traditional pharmacist who went natural. And my goal is, as the pharmacist, or the herbal pharmacist, is really to get people to where they either, can at least reduce the medications they're having to take, or my ultimate goal is to do what you did and what I did, which is to not have to use any medications whatsoever to achieve the pain relief that they're looking for, whether it's from back problems or migraine headaches, or some people have facial pain. I mean, arthritis pain. I mean, whatever it might be, the goal I have is to get you to where you're not having to require or the use of those medications that do lead to a whole lot of other side effects other than the ones that you feel. There's a lot of internal stuff going on there too.
Yeah, and actually I did bring up your I said University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy, and I didn't hold that against you. So I'm a graduate of University of Washington. So.
Oh, okay, that's all cool. It's all right. You know what? We all have to go somewhere, is what I say.
That's right. Now, as far as if people want to get a hold of you, are you in South Carolina still?
No, actually, I reside in the Tampa Bay area of Florida.
Okay.
But the easiest way to hook up with me is to go to my website. I don't sell anything. It's educational, informative, and it's herbalpharmacist.com. They can also connect to social media. I also do television besides radio. So there's previous television interviews there. I have a blog, Facebook, Twitter, the whole 9 yards. You can connect to me through my website would be the easiest way.
Okay, well, as the music cues for our break, we're going to get back into chronic pain with David Foreman when we come back on Inspired Living with Mark and Kim here on OMTimes Radio.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
What if living didn't have to be so serious?
What if you could move beyond your problems with greater confidence and ease than you've ever imagined?
Throw your labels out the window and join the Irreverent Therapist for practical tips and a very different way of approaching the changes you would like to create.
Marilyn Bradford
and Pam Hodling
have empowered hundreds of people to come out of self-judgment, quit looking to experts, and begin to create the lives they desire.
Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Irreverent Therapist Show.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake. Are you seeking answers to life questions? Would you like to connect to a departed loved one? Are you suffering from pain, stress, or anxiety? Kimberly Thalkin is a tested, certified, and professional psychic, spiritual medium, energy healer, hypnotherapist, and the founder of Love First, where life transformations happen. Love First services support, guide, and empower individuals by connecting them to their highest potential to live a healthier, joyful, and meaningful life that's filled with purpose. All services can be done by phone, Skype, or in person in Encino, California. Please visit lovefirst.info. That's lovefirst.info for more information.
Dr. Kevin here. And I want to invite you every Thursday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, to join me on the Dr. Kevin Show, where we have a diversity of guests who help you step outside the box, behind the curtain, and see what a load of crap is going on in the world today, so you have more information with which to make better decisions. We'll see you there. Namaste.
Feed your soul with waves of consciousness on OMTimes Radio.
And welcome back to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim here on OMTimes Radio. It is Wednesday, and we have a special guest coming all the way from Florida, David Foreman, retired pharmacist, author, and radio host of the syndicated show, The Herbal Pharmacist, well known for dealing with chronic pain, supplements, and before we went to the break, David, we were talking about how many people suffer from chronic pain. We're going to get into that and more details, and we did have a few questions that we wanted to ask you from our Inspired listeners. But before we do that, we were able to sync up finally. We worked our way around Mercury retrograde, and we found Kim Thalken out there in Encino, California on her phone. Kim, are you with us?
Mark, thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Inspired listeners. I'm so glad that I could join in. It really helps to have a co-host that is technically savvy, I tell you, especially during Mercury retrograde. So I'm glad I'm here. I've been listening to the show. I just couldn't comment, and I heard so many interesting things going on. I kept wanting to jump in, but I wasn't connected.
You're
so
like,
anyway,
wait a minute, I'm not on Skype. I can't get in. But we got you on the cell phone, and we can hear you great. And what's going on with you?
Well, I'm just excited to be here. I mean, Wednesdays are one of my favorite times of the week just because I get to be with our Inspired community, and just really excited about hearing more about this issue of how to best work with chronic pain, because I know so many people suffer from chronic pain. And on my end, too, Mark, I do have some questions that have come in. So people are interested in how they can help themselves heal, and it's going to be a great show today. It already is.
Yeah. And again, if you want to ask David Foreman some questions, head on over to our Facebook page right now, Inspired Living Radio. Type in your question. We'll be checking that for the next hour and bringing that question live to air, or our Twitter account, which is Inspired for Us, the number 4 us. And David, looking through this information, it says that chronic pain hurts 1 in 5 Americans, and treatment can be mind-boggling, not only for physicians, but us as patients. So 1 in 5, that's high.
Yeah. When I tell people that there are more people suffering from chronic pain in the U.S. than the amount of people that have diabetes, heart disease, and cancer combined, they look at me like, yeah, you're messed up. And it's legit. Almost 26 million people have diabetes. Another 23 million plus have some sort of heart disease, and about 12 million with cancer, and those do not add up to 100 million. So it's a big deal. And when you consider the majority of the people probably with chronic pain are not children, they're probably adults, mm-hmm. That really, to me, makes it even, more impactful for the number of people that are probably, in your world that are not talking about the fact that they're feeling miserable either, on a daily basis, or I guessed on a radio program periodically in Illinois, and the guy told me the other day, he's like, I get a migraine 3 times a week. Well, that's considered chronic pain, even though it doesn't happen every day. If you're having migraines on a regular basis, that's chronic pain. And it really does blow my mind about how many people really are trying to deal with this. And like you said, Mark, they're taking medications that, often yield side effects you don't want. And so I'm glad you guys have me on. This is a big topic.
It is. And according to the Institute of Medicine, more than 100 million sufferers of chronic pain in just the United States. We're not even talking from a worldwide standpoint. And chronic pain costs the nation as much as $635 billion. That's billion with a B a year in medical treatment and lost productivity. That's huge. And that's just the United States. I can't imagine what it's like on a worldwide basis.
Right. Yeah. That when people kind of try to wrap their mind around that, it's not just the expense of medications or going for therapy sessions, but that number also involves the amount of time people miss from going to work, and so I actually feel like that number could be bigger. When you really start seeing how many people there are, I found a great website it's a website for just the data on it, and if you want to get more depressed about your health,
no, this is an uplifting show, David. No depression.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, if you want to get more depressed, don't listen to this website, but painmed.org has some really cool statistics on that. If you really want to, you like to, come up with new chat, things to chat about at cocktail parties. Great website for that.
And say that one more time for our inspired listeners.
It's painmed.org.
Painmed.org, and we'll go ahead and post that on our page.
Yeah, I can also send you guys a link, but it's the American Academy of Pain Medication is what it is, and there's they actually have some good information. Again, I'm not for the drug part of it, but it really does kind of give you, if you have a family member or a friend dealing with chronic pain, I think it's really important to understand what they're dealing with, and it'll make us a lot more empathetic to their situation and be more likely to want to help them.
Yeah, and I have to say that the meds, one of the big things, even for my journey when I was going through this in my chronic pain, I do have to say that my doctor was very mindful and open about the side effects from these narcotics: depression, anxiety, lack of sleep, and so you have to really examine, is it worth taking these pills, because you may take the pain away, but the onset might be 3 more symptoms that you never had before: depression, anxiety, stress, loss of sleep, and it just goes on and on. It's like when I listen to these drug commercials that come on, during the commercial, and it says you can have a better, healthy life, but then they take, 30 seconds to talk about all the side effects. Don't take this pill if, such and such, condition arises. And it's just like, do I really want to take that pill? Because it's causing much more problems than just my one symptom that I have of chronic pain.
Yeah, it's that's the biggest thing that I really hang my hat on with sort of bucking the traditional system of modern medicine. And people will often take a drug to address one health issue where it's probably going to cause or possibly cause 10 to 20 other problems. And I always have this saying I use called is the risk worth the reward? Or is the reward worth the risk? Look at it however you want to. And like I said, I'm a walking testimony of the things that, we'll get to talk about for pain management. And since we do have you guys have an hour show and you're letting me be on, I could even get outside the box if you want to, even outside herbal medicine or natural medicine into some other techniques, that, I can often recommend for people, because, there is no such thing as one size fits all when it comes to any form of medicine. The root cause of your back problem is different than the root cause of someone else's back problem, or, the root cause of my daughter's migraine headaches versus her mom's migraine headaches are, completely different. And so, if we have time, we can get into some of that stuff too.
Yeah, I think our inspired listeners would love to have that approach and hear that information. I know that there's a new movie coming out with Jennifer Aniston that's, Cake, that's going to be talking about, how she's portraying. I'm not sure who she's portraying. I don't know if it's based on a true life story or not, but it's the miserable and misunderstanding of, or misdiagnosis of, a person that's suffering from chronic pain. I'm not sure when it actually comes out, but it is starring Jennifer Aniston. And it's funny that you have that saying, because I always say, is the juice worth the squeeze? Kind of the same thing. So
yeah, exactly.
In everything that I do.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good thing to look at. Just because of what you guys do with your program, that's a great saying for pretty much all aspects of life. Everything we're going to do. Yogi Berra just passed away, and his saying was, yep. one of my favorite sayings: if you come to a fork in the road, take it. And I'm like, well, which one's got the sharp prong on it? I'm just kidding. Sorry, I really don't say that. I just kind of made that one up, but you get the idea.
Sure,
it's
sure.
like you got to, what's really worth it. And I feel like natural is definitely a way to go.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. So, Kim, you said that there was some questions that you had from our inspired listeners. Do we want to get one of the questions on the air before we go to our second break?
Yes, would love to. So we had a question come in on what you would recommend for frozen shoulders.
Well,
As I understand, it's very painful, and this person was talking about the pain that he has with just lifting his shoulders or sleeping on his shoulders.
Right. And that actually, I've known people that have had that. It is extremely painful. At one point, I actually thought I had it years ago. For those people, you really want to focus on a couple of things. And I'm going to go outside the supplement box right away. And my experience is that I don't know if you guys have ever discussed Louise Hay. Have you?
No, I have not heard of that.
Familiar with her, but we have not discussed her. Hope to have her on the show someday.
So there are a lot of conditions that we have that are manifested by a thought or an emotion. And Louise Hay kind of made that famous. One of my favorite books she has is called Heal Your Body. And
Louise Hay. Sorry. Yes, of course I know Louise Hay. I thought you were giving the name of a Chinese medicine or something.
Oh, no. This is actually, I mean, this is going outside. This is outside the Herbal Pharmacist, but I can tell you that people I've met with frozen shoulder, there was an underlying emotion or thought process that was raising them up. And by using Louise Hay, and finding out what the root thought or emotion is, and then using that affirmation, really does go a long way. And then I can give some supplements when we come back from the break.
Oh, I love that idea. And I know she's got a lot of just really great work out there. And in fact, I do have her book, You Can Heal Your Life. And she does have a very interesting chart in there about physical ailments and the thought process that might go with that, and then how to correct it through the affirmations. So very interesting. Hold it. That will be back in 2 minutes. And stay with us. Thank you.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting to your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and help you realize the innate potential you have to heal every aspect of your life. So come heal yourself every Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, with your host, Monica Goyal. Namaste.
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Hello, I'm Miriam Knight of New Consciousness Review, inviting you to my new show where I interview the rising stars of the conscious awakening. We'll explore the many faces of consciousness in action and intriguing perspectives on life, the universe, and everything in between. Join us each Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the Rising Stars Show.
One planet. 7.3 billion people. Only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Mark Lanehart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Mark's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream. Dare to explore. Dare to live. For more information on Mark's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marklanehart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector. The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
And welcome back, inspired listeners. Thank you for being with us today as we interview our guest, David Foreman, on this very interesting topic of chronic pain and alternative therapies to help support us when we find ourselves in that situation. So, David, before we were going to break, we were talking a little bit about frozen shoulders, as we had one of our listeners reach out because he's been suffering from this for quite some time. And you were talking about Louise Hay. In fact, I just pulled the book on break, and it's very interesting. It'll list all the problems, physical ailments. It'll list the probable cause, and then it'll give you a new thought pattern to help correct that affirmation of sorts. So very interesting. But you were also talking about using some kind of herbal medication that you would recommend as well.
Right. And real quick, Louise Hay, for anybody that does have that shoulder issue, she claims it represents your ability to carry your experiences in life joyously. Basically, we're making life a burden by our attitudes. So if that rings true to the person who asked that question or anybody else that has shoulder issues, that's an area of your life you need to work on. Supplement wise, I find that doing whatever I can to help relax the muscles, not just in the shoulders but in the neck, and maybe even the upper part of the back where your neck kind of connects between your shoulder blades. I like using the mineral magnesium as a muscle relaxant. I like using the herb passion flower. Actually, passion flower is quite a strong muscle relaxant. It'll help relax those muscles. I have people use that in low doses during the day to kind of maintain a little bit of the relaxation, but without catching a buzz like you might from a lot of the prescription muscle relaxants, and then take higher doses at bedtime. Not only just to relax the muscles deeper, but also to make sure that you get a good night's sleep. And then topically, one of my favorite pain relievers is called Celadrin. I'll spell it because it sounds different than it's spelled. It's C as in Charlie, E-L-A-D-R-I-N, Celadrin. And Celadrin's available both in a cream and in a capsule. In this case, the capsule probably wouldn't be indicated, but topically, Celadrin is one of my favorite things to really give people fast, usually within 20 minutes, relief from pain. When I was doing a lot of running years ago, and I was doing a lot of half marathons, I did one full, and I would slather that stuff on my legs, on my muscles, not my joints, but on my muscles, upon completion of my run, just to take some of the inflammation away and increase my flexibility and just decrease the stiffness that would go along with that. And so for someone with frozen shoulder, I think Celadrin topically would work phenomenally.
Wow, that's really great and helpful information. Question for you on some of your recommendations with magnesium and the passion flower. Are these, because these are natural, are these okay to take on a daily basis then?
They are. Well, here's the thing. I mean, if someone's on I mean, everybody needs to check with their healthcare provider. Generally in America, we're magnesium deficient. So usually the side effect of taking too much magnesium is that it'll loosen your bowels up, which most people in the U.S. are constipated anyway. So they'll probably be thankful that they're taking magnesium.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. What is it about it here in the U.S.?
Yeah, I'm not saying that we all have constipated personalities, but we tend to be constipated. Yeah, I like to have a little fun. And passion flower, I wouldn't necessarily mix passion flower with certain prescription medications, especially those that cause drowsiness. So if you're on something for anxiety or depression or another muscle relaxant or a pain reliever that does cause drowsiness, then you probably wouldn't want to use it. But generally speaking, long-term use on both of those should be safe for most people.
Great. Thank you so much. That was very helpful. We'll go ahead and post some of these recommendations on our Fanboat page as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, I actually wrote down it's pronounced Celadrin. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Celadrin. Okay, I wrote that down, and we'll go ahead and post that on our Inspired Living Radio Facebook page for all the inspired listeners. Now, we wanted to get into, get out of the box thinking and some other things, not just with herbs, but some other techniques that you wanted to talk about in your book and things that we can do for chronic pain. What are some of the modalities that we can work through to help with our chronic pain besides just taking a pill?
Well, I think probably the top of the list, that I would recommend for people with chronic pain would be acupuncture. I've had so many people use acupuncture for different types of pain. I've had for whether it was migraine, whether it was joint related. Mark, like you said, with your back issue. Sometimes people even will use a little bit of electrostimulation with acupuncture. Mm-hmm. That works really well. I'm going to go old school on you. All right,
all right. That's
right. Yeah, right on. All right, well, this is kind of weird old school. This is every time I bring this up, people go, "Well, my grandmother told me to do that," and that is a hot Epsom salt bath. Epsom salt, for people that aren't familiar with it, is a form of magnesium. And the idea here with, and I mentioned magnesium earlier for the frozen shoulder. Magnesium is one of the 3 things I recommend for people that suffer from chronic pain, because it usually plays a role in just about every type of chronic pain I've come across. And so another way to get it into the body is to take a hot Epsom salt bath. And there's 2 benefits that go on when you do that hot bath. And one is, and by the way, hot, I'm saying, draw water in your bathtub that's, is not scalding you, but is about as hot as you can tolerate, and then dissolve Epsom salt in it. And that moist heat will go a long way to relaxing your muscles. And a lot of people that do have pain and discomfort, it is because those muscles get tight. It'll also open your pores up so that the magnesium then can be absorbed into your tissues, into your body, into the muscles. Because a lot of people that have back problems, it's not just that your disc is slipped. You usually are having muscles that are tense, and the body naturally tenses up, trying to protect itself. And when that happens, a lot of times you get an opposing muscle group, one high, one low on a disc or an area of the back, and it ends up pulling that disc apart even further. So anytime we can relax those muscles, we often will get a lot of pain relief. People that have fibromyalgia is another really common condition here in the United States. A lot of those people have significant magnesium deficiencies. And so, again, that hot Epsom salt bath, the hot water will relax the muscles, and then you're getting that magnesium to penetrate into the areas where you might need it the most. And so that's a little bit outside the box. 2 other things that are kind of cracked me up for people is get more exercise. And I know there are certain people that are listening that have chronic pain, and that might be because of an injury. And so your type of exercise you do might be limited. But so if you're like me and you semi blew out your knee, obviously me going out for a run or a walk isn't necessarily a good idea. But I was able to ride my bike. Or I was able to go swimming. So there's different types of activities that people need to do. And we now know, not only just in natural medicine, but in modern medicine, that people that got more exercise or activity, it actually helped them manage their pain better, because your body releases its own, I'll call it narcotic, those endorphins we hear about every now and then. And when you get those increased endorphins released, it will increase your body's ability to handle the pain, or maybe we'll say not feel the pain as much. And then the last one that I like to say is one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of prayer. We could call it meditation. It's probably a better term to use with your program. But meditation, lots of studies show that people who meditated help lower their anxiety, lower depression, and just gave them a better way of managing their pain overall. And that's actually one of the keys I use in all health, is I believe spirituality should play a huge role in whatever health issue it is you have. So those are my outside-the-box suggestions for you guys.
Well, and actually that fits right in the box for this show, because we are all about metaphysics. We're all about spirituality. We're all about meditation, which prayer is a form of meditation depending on where you live in the world. So through my journey of chronic pain, I really found out that it is a balance of mind, body, and spirit. And a lot of us just get into the just the physical side of the house. Well, I can't exercise because I'm injured, but it doesn't take anything to actually sit down and meditate and visualize and manifest for getting healthy and want to have a healthier lifestyle. So those are not outside the box here. Those fit perfectly with our listening audience. But if you were to say that in Western medicine, which I went through, you get the eyes rolling, you kind of get the head shaking, because it's not supported necessarily by scientific studies, or it just doesn't fit within the Western medicine philosophy per se. So when we come back from break, we're going to get into some more questions with David Foreman here, talking about chronic pain. You are listening to Inspired Living with Mark and Kim on OMTimes Radio, the voice of consciousness.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of the Inspired Parenting radio show, where every week we bring you empowering information from the diverse fields of conscious parenting, education, neuroscience, consciousness, health, and metaphysics to support you in nurturing the best in your children. So if you're interested in understanding what shapes your children's minds, spirits and hearts, join me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and prepare to be inspired.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. What if business could be fun? What if business is the adventure of living? What are you choosing? Where do you do business that makes it easier, more fun, or more joyful for you? We'd love to see where you do business. Connect with us on Instagram at Joy of Business or Twitter at Joy of Business, and share your pictures with hashtags BusinessDoneWhere and Joy of Business. Let's change the world with business.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know, I tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back, Inspired listeners. Thank you for being with us today and every Wednesday. Today we are talking to David Foreman, who has just shared some really great insights on how to work with chronic pain in a more natural and holistic way. When we left for break, David was talking to us about the importance of incorporating some kind of spiritual practices into your life, be it meditation and prayer, and I can't emphasize that enough myself. I've noticed a huge change in my own life when I committed to these practices on a daily basis, and you will too. David, I know that there's a lot more to be said about supplements and how they can help support us with pain as well. Could you talk to us a little bit more about how we can use supplements?
Yeah, definitely. I've got to chime in on what you just said though about the meditation. Because I think in this modern era, people have tended over the last several decades, at least, to migrate away from meditation. And it really, of all the things in health, I think that people forget to do when it comes to their overall health, whether it's keeping yourself healthy or trying to achieve the health we're looking for. The one thing that people seem to always forget is prayer or meditation. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me, and I think culturally we've kind of gotten away from it, and you're almost looked on as a freak nowadays. I mean, I used to be afraid to bring it up, honestly. I mean, and that's why I said outside the box, because most of the stuff I do, you guys, is in the area of where people look at my prayer and meditation as I'm a freak. And when I tell people that, at least 2 or 3 times a day when I'm home, when I'm not traveling on the road, I go into my bedroom and I lay on my bed and I meditate, I pray, and whatever it is that's going on. And I can't drive home enough that, and I'm sorry, I know I said I want to talk about supplements, but people really need to understand, especially people with chronic pain, because people with chronic pain usually end up manifesting other health challenges, because pain can lead to depression. It can lead to fatigue. It can lead to sleeplessness. It can lead to changes in your appetite where you either don't want to eat or eat like a pig. Increases your anxiety. It just changes your overall emotions, depending on how your pain threshold is. It affects your immune system, so you're more likely to get colds and flu. Oh, yeah, and cancer. So, meditation's huge, and unless you do something to really, you could pop a pill to cure your ill, so to speak, is one of my favorite sayings. But the battle also comes from your mind and your spirit, and I just really want to. Did I beat a dead horse? I'm not into beating horses.
No, not at all. And just to add to that, David, because this is the right venue to talk about meditation. Is meditation not only led me to do a show about today, but meditation is probably the number one thing that helped me with my chronic pain to not take those pills and to get on the path of getting healthy again. And, meditation, it doesn't have to be a freak show. It can be very private for every person. Positive visualization, manifestation of what you want in your life can also be part of meditation. And it can be something done, in a private space just between you and yourself and whatever that higher, consciousness is for you and whatever your beliefs are. But we love having freaks on the show, so you're fitting right in.
I was going to say to that, I was going to add to that too, Mark. I'm like, you're not a freak on our show. This is a great place to do that on Inspired Living, because I think we're all proponents of that, because we've seen the benefits of how that has enhanced our life. And when you talk, David, about the power of our thoughts and our emotions, are so very important, because they can manifest into, if they're incorrect thinking or your emotions aren't where they should be, then that can manifest into physical ailments. So that's why these things are so important. And I always say prayer is, when you ask for help, you will get it. And I always tell my clients that when you ask for help, you'll get it. It's the one constant in life, as I say. So thank you for emphasizing a very important thing that I think we all believe in here.
And David,
cool. and I don't feel like a freak, to be honest with you.
No, I was just kidding.
Yeah, no, it's so funny though. But I'm down with you guys calling me whatever you want. Okay, so
just don't call me late for dinner.
I'm okay with that one too. So, but no, but anyway. So yeah, I wrote a book a couple of years ago. It's my only big boy book, as I like to say. It was on heart disease, and I had this vision of a series of a series of books, all under the guise of 4 pillars of health. That's my approach to health. It's 4 pillars of health, which are diet, exercise, supplementation, and spirituality. And, diet's how we eat. Exercise is different for all the people. Spirituality, same thing. And then there's certain supplements that are, like today, chronic pain, there's certain supplements. I mentioned Celadrin topically. Well, orally, it's great for inflammation and pain. For me, I'm a 51-year-old guy, and I noticed my joints getting a little, when I stood up from a chair, I'd be like, I shouldn't feel like that. Celadrin helps, kind of help rehydrate that connective tissue, that spongy stuff that's between your joints. Or using the herb turmeric when I'm cooking, and if I'm not going to use turmeric in my cooking, then I will take a supplement version of it, because turmeric is a kick butt antioxidant. Science even validates that it's a great anti-inflammatory. And so there are a lot of different things that I can integrate, into my world. I mean, if I just rely on the pills to cure my ill, am I going to get where I need to go? Maybe not. But if I eat, make my food be my medicine, and I get my exercise, which you talked about earlier, which is most people with chronic pain don't think about doing that. Luckily on your program, people already get the meditation thing. So, that's not outside the box for everybody on this program. And then, adding these supplements, and it really is a 4-pronged approach to either staying well or getting well. And I am a walking testimony, man. If I fall off my 4 pillars and I'm walking on 3, man, it doesn't work. Something will go wrong, and it just, that's how the world is. And so you can't, I knew a preacher, he could pray the paint off the wall, but you know what? He didn't eat right. He died he was obese and died of a heart attack. I knew a marathon runner died of cancer because they were making a lot more pollution than the average person. And so you can't just be totally athletic. You can't just be just spiritually grounded. You can't just, eat all the right things. It's a balance of everything that really gets you where you want to go in your health. And that's my message for people usually.
Well said. Well said. And so, as we start to wrap up the show here, David, where can folks find you? Let's get let's talk about your book, your sites, questions that folks may have for you. Where can they find you online?
I like to do one-stop shopping, and that's just go to my website, which is herbalpharmacist.com, HerbalPharmacist, herbalpharmacist.com. And they can connect to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I have a YouTube channel with a bunch of TV segments. That's another big thing that I do. I travel around. As a matter of fact, Mark, I was just in Seattle. I was on NBC a couple of weeks back doing a segment, I believe, on this topic. But yeah, they can connect just through my website. And then the other cool thing I want to offer to your listeners is you can ask me questions. Maybe you tried to do that through social media today and you couldn't get it answered. You're welcome to, click on the contact us, and there is no us. The us is me, myself, and I, and ask their questions. And my expertise is not just natural medicine. I mean, not just pain. My expertise is really health and healthy lifestyle. And so if you've got a question about something else outside of the topic today, fire away. If I don't know the answer, I'll direct you to where you can go. No one else is going to see your email but me. So you don't have to worry about privacy stuff. I feel like God put me on this earth to really help 2 things: help people and make them smile.
We love that. And that's why we have you on the show. I wish we had more time. I think, Kim, that we found one of our experts to have back on the show on a quarterly basis to talk about all of the health and chronic pain and David's information. He's a plethora of information. And if you find yourself again in Seattle, David, make sure to look me up. We'll grab a cup of coffee since this is the coffee capital of the world.
I'll be there in November. I already know my dates and everything. So I'll be there the 12th through the 16th.
Perfect. Well, feel free to look me up, and I'd love to meet you in person. And again, we'd love to have you back on the show. Thank you so much for being a part of Inspired Living.
Thank you for being here, David.
Thank you very much, you guys. And Kim, I'm glad you finally got connected. Thank you.
Me too. I didn't want to miss out on such a great show. So,
well, you guys have awesome energy, man, and anybody that listens to your program has an extra blessing in their life because you guys are awesome. You really are.
Well, thank you so much. And I just wanted to say on that last section of talking about prayer, I think it's important that, we pray and we reach out, but that's, listening back through meditation is also your spiritual path, and to receive that information, it's always a two-way street. So, just thank you so much for the information. I know our Inspired listeners, we've been listened to in 154 different countries, so I know there's a lot of people out there that do believe in meditation and the power of the mind over the body. And so, David, we'll have you back on the show here later in the year. And again, thanks for being a great guest on Inspired Living.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a blessed day.
All right, you too, my friend.
Thank you.
And Kim, I'm going to see you, my dear. We have next week's guest is actually going to be an encore show for our listening audience, and that's going to be Panache Desai talking about your soul signature, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks. So I'll see you in Asheville, North Carolina, Kim.
See you in a few days. Goodbye, Inspired listeners. Thank you for being
All right, everybody. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Be kind, be caring, compassionate. Namaste.